We'll hop in. Not gonna lie, like I'm pretty fucking nervous, and I'm never normally nervous for these calls. I'll uh I'll give some context then. So I realized about a month ago that anytime that I was speaking about the things that we were doing, people were just way more interested. I think for one, just to compare like where they're at, what they're going through, I think people are surprised when like we don't have good months as well. And then beyond that, I think people are just fucking nosy and just like to know generally what people are up to. So I thought each month we'll just share it. We'll show you what we're doing, what's working, what's not working. Try and create some transparency in an industry that's not very transparent. And yeah, hopefully it's enjoyable. I'm not gonna lie, like I say, I'm fucking nervous to do it, and I do these calls every single week. But there's just something about sharing the ins and outs that just puts you on there a bit of an edge. If I'm going to be totally upfront, I think it's more egotistical nervousness from my side in terms of like, I wish we were doing better than what we are right now. Um, but I guess let's just bring you along for the journey and show you exactly where we're at. Let's jump in then. So don't be expecting any like fancy presentation, by the way. It's a classic Ryan PDF, which people have known to come to love. Let me just build this out of the way. Here we are then. So let's start with the interesting stuff then. So let's start with the overall mission. So the mission for me is pretty simple. Like it's just to provide an affordable opportunity for anybody that wants to build an online fitness business. That's pretty much it. It's not overly complicated, but I know that it's a space that's lacking. Personally, I think that there's a big gap between what we do in like full-on one-to-one that helps people like grow and scale teams. I think if you're a coach that's doing decent numbers and just if you don't mind, guys, just keep yourself muted while I'm running through this. Um, I think there's a big gap between the coaches that are just starting out or doing a few K per month, even 5, 6K, to coaches that are maybe scaling to bigger heights, doing 10, 15, 20, 30K plus. I think one-to-one is an obvious choice at that point. But I just think the whole group model of having 300 clients paying 500, £600 a month for basically a success coach and an accountability coach is absolutely ridiculous. And I think that's where a lot of people get stuck, unfortunately. So for me, that's the gap that we're going to fill, which is just making it affordable for anybody. The vision for me then is, let me just mute you guys. Guys, just keep yourselves muted, please. Just throw out this. I've muted you all there. For me, the vision is pretty simple as well. It's basically just to become the only name worth mentioning in the online fitness business space. For me, it needs to be unmatched, undeniable, unchallenged, and just purely domination. Might sound a little bit extreme, but a lot of you know the backstory that I was actually kicked out of a fitness mentorship when I first started. I was part of like a higher tier inner circle, and they said that was too competitive, which is really fucking ironic because now I'm going to be one of their biggest competitors. So yeah. um, the goal for me then is like my thing that I want to achieve is I want to get to 1,000 members by 2027. Um, Originally, that wasn't even the target. The target was, and I'll find it. This one, no, 2030. When we actually first started, I posted this in the group, which was just a prediction, like sharing where I want to take this. Um, I feel like when we put things out there and we speak about it, we're asking for these things. We're not keeping it to ourselves. I think people just keep things to themselves and then they have nothing up against the wall. I know for a fact of doing a call like this and putting out predictions that I'm going to have to start to step up. I'm going to have to start to move towards these things. So if you can take something away from that, I would share that as well. But the predictions that I had back then was to hit it by 2030. But looking at the data and the growth of recent, I think that we can fucking smash that target. A few things have changed though. So for me, yes, I want to hit 1,000 people in the group by the 2027 mark. The accountability coach, that's not something that we've set in place yet, but it's definitely something I would explore. I don't think there's anything wrong with having an accountability coach. I think the problem with these big scale mentorships is they just force one on you and then they charge the £600, £700 a month price tag. If somebody wants somebody that says like, hey, have you fucking done this today? And that's going to make them more than the £200 price tag, then cool, that's a good idea. But just forcing something that's not beneficial, I don't really subscribe to that. The mentorship model right now, I'll run through the stats and the figures, but I'm really not trying to focus on the one-to-one. I'm almost like totally chill and happy if somebody's like, I'm going to go do this by myself now, Ryan. It pains me more to lose £100 a month client in the group than it does to lose a one-to-one client right now, just because that's where my focus is going on to. But we'll come to that at a different rate. The thing I want to do inside that, though, is obviously just keep the team nice and small. I don't want to build a huge team. When we run the fitness business, our best ever month was like a little bit over 25 grand. And I think we had like a 9 grand month like staffing cost. It was like 7 to 9 grand a month for that. You don't come away with a lot of money when you start to build teams, which a lot of the one-to-one clients I work with now, we sort of explore different options, like using the automations, sometimes ghost coaches, etc., etc. But yeah, that's where we're at. That's the goal for me. We want to get to 1,000 clients by 2027. And I think that we can do that. In terms of a metric standpoint, that would mean acquiring about 144 to 160 clients per month, with a churn rate of about, I think it's 14%, which I think we can improve the churn rate. And I honestly think that we can acquire more clients per month than that, because I know big scale mentorships that book 200 sales calls a month, and most of them don't show, but most of them can't afford it. I think with what we offer, it's more than affordable for people. It's just about looking at the model for it. Let's go into the juicy fucking stuff then, which is the data and the targets thing, because this is what everyone really wants to fucking see, the ins and outs. Let's come over then. So I'll zoom in for you. Left-hand side is BFM. We'll get onto the one-to-one stuff and then the ad spend and everything else afterwards. This hasn't been even going a year at this point, and I'll talk you through sort of the journey of it. September was when we were like, right, it's basically ready. We're going to go get rocking with this. You'll take one look at this and think like, oh, 7 clients in the first month. That's great. 5 of these people will one-to-one clients that are getting signed up in that month, which you'll notice here a lot of the times, the totals of that month don't really match the revenue. One of two things. There's one-to-one clients in there, which are obviously in the group for free. And then beyond that as well, you have a delay period inside of school of 14 days. So like when somebody signs up, I have to wait fucking 14 days to get the cash, which doesn't turn over into the revenue until the next month. Just if you're like, that number doesn't match, Ryan, that's why. October again, we started to grow a little bit. The main growth from here was a lot of what I talk about with you guys, which is through like the quick cash stuff and just going back to old leads and ex-clients. A lot of the people that signed up during this period of time, I just helped for free over the last 3 to fucking 6 months. Kev's just joined this call. I helped Kev for free while I was in Baldy like 12 months ago. And then when you come around and the guy needs help, like that's the first person that you go to. When I think about Les, one of my other one-to-one clients, got a call with after this, I helped him for like VA stuff for like no expectations at all. When this launched, he was like, I'm interested. So when it comes to things paying off, it's nice to be nice, guys. If you give somebody a little bit of fucking value, if you reach out your hand and you generally want to help somebody, things come back around. I've never known somebody not be willing to help somebody and not do well. It just doesn't fucking happen. November then, during this period, the growth wasn't big. It was a real like discovery phase of trying to think like, how is this going to grow? Is it going to be through ads? Is it going to be through word of mouth? Is it going to be through affiliates, etc.? And honestly, a main focus during this period of time was more of the one-to-one stuff, purely because of where the revenue was at. So if somebody's sitting here thinking like, I want to grow a low ticket community, but you also want to make cash right now, I would really suggest not to. Because you can see right here, like it takes a fucking long time to get going. When you're selling something that's £100 a month, it doesn't add up to a lot of revenue straight away. If we look at the one-on-one metrics, what was that? 4 months in, we've done a 10K a month. 4 months into this, we weren't even doing £1,000. So it's like, if you want to make a lot more money a lot quicker, go with one-to-one higher ticket stuff. If you want to have a bigger impact, which is kind of like the direction that we want to go with this and just purely dominate the whole fucking space, it's going to take a lot longer and just be willing to not have cash in your pocket for a little bit. Something to remember is like, even though that we weren't actively growing the fitness business and we don't anymore, there's still recurring revenue that comes in from that. Even though like clients drop every single month, there's still a few £1,000s that comes in. So like that gives us a little bit of cushion room for that. So it's a nice luxury to have. Um, Beyond that, then we'll sort of come to February timeframe. And I remember sitting there and I was speaking to Vita and I was like, listen, my diary's absolutely rammed. One-to-one clients are fucking everywhere, like little calls here, little calls there. And sort of made the decision to move everybody that was in my calendar all to the first few days of the week. So instead of having like Saturday, Sunday to try and grow the group and you're fucking knackered by that point because you've just worked the whole fucking week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday was one-to-one calls. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday was then growth in the group. And then ironically, we started fucking growing. During that period of time, we were testing things like the webinars, which I'll come to in a minute, ended up not working. But again, it's a lot of trial and error. But because I bought back my own time at that point by just being a little bit more savvy with where I was putting people, that allowed us to just start to explore that. This month, though, we had a fucking huge amount of churn. Like 31% is disgusting. Like 10 clients left that month. This was a big turning point, though. And this is why it's so important to track the data. I'm very acquisition focused. Like the problem in our fitness business and why we never pushed past that 25K mark is because most people were leaving too quick. I actually jumped on a call with a friend that does like multi 6 figures. And he was like, what's your churn? What's your LTV? And I didn't even know the fucking answer. And these are two metrics that I get you both to track as soon as you fucking start, because I know how important it is now. But if I was old Ryan, I wouldn't know this and I wouldn't try and fix the group. A lot of you guys that are new in the group, it looks amazing now and it's structured out in a perfect way. It didn't used to look like that. I actually had a conversation with a guy who left. And I had really big expectations for him, and I said, "Mate, what's happening? Like, why have you left, basically?" And he was like, "Mate, I haven't done anything in the group." And I was like, "You not send a message, not made any of the content, not done this, not done that." He's like, "No, I haven't done anything." There's like two scenarios there. Scenario number one is like, this guy's an idiot, fuck him, like the group's totally fine. Or scenario number two is like, somebody else is feeling the exact same way. Maybe I need to change around the group and make it way more digestible. So when people come in the group now at this point, because of this bad churn month, you'll see that everything is perfectly spaced out. So it's like there's a lot less overwhelming there. Well, back in that month, things like the warm outreach, the content, the lead magnets, they were all in one fucking course. Which for me, because I understood it, I thought like that's fine. People will just skim through it, take what they need, and then that's it, it's done. It's overwhelming as fuck. So to take a lesson from that, if you're currently going through like building out your business, sometimes just simplifying things and taking things away are more powerful than anything else, not just constantly adding on and cramming things inside of there. But we fixed it and it dropped, which is good, which, dropping your churn from 30% to 12% is a huge difference. It's like massive, massive. Target wise, we do want to get it to around about 10%, which is extremely fucking difficult. If nobody knows about like churn metrics and stuff for a school-based community where somebody can click one button and leave if they have a fucking bad day, which is not much I can do about that, unfortunately. But yeah, that's what we're going to aim for. That's going to be like our gold standard. And we're going to try and do it without doing like tying everybody into contracts and fucking big upfront payments, which it's going to be an uphill battle, but I'll try my best. Beyond that, though, we came into April, start to figure out a few things in terms of the ad standpoint of it, but most importantly as well, a few things around affiliates, which I'm going to come to as one of my things that we're sort of exploring. May just gone was our biggest month, which we added 33 clients in May. If anyone thinks that they're not growing, just look at the fact that we had 33 people join in May. In March, we had 32 people that were inside of the group. Things can change very, very quickly. If I'm going to talk you through these metrics on the right-hand side, say AR is just churn rate. So this is like the difference between how many people were here at the start of the month and how many of those people left. This is really important. If you got somebody leaving out the fucking back door and not enough people are coming for the front, you're going to start to die, or at least you're going to cap out like what we did in the fitness business. It's really, really important here. CGR, customer growth rate, this essentially is just the amount of people that were here at the start of the month to the amount of people that are here at the end of the month. Customer acquisition rate is then just the difference between that in terms of how many people are signing up per month versus how many people started. These two right here, I really wouldn't put like when you're coming to do this yourself, and this is all in the portal for you, by the way. When you come to do this yourself, I wouldn't have a target for customer acquisition rate and customer growth rate. You just want it to be as fucking high as possible. You know, within reason. If you can't take on 100 clients in a day, maybe be reasonable. I don't think you're gonna have that problem though. The thing that I would set the target for is churn. If we're talking about fitness businesses, which is what most of you run, I know some different guys in here in terms of Grant who does golfing stuff, and Sam who does cycling, and Fuse doing mindset, etc. If we can aim for 10% and below, it's a fucking great place to be. It's a lot easier for aim for 10% below when we have things like contracts and upsells and downsells, etc., etc. But that would be a gold standard. If we're gonna like blow it out the park, 5%, but that's like, well done you. You're absolutely fucking crushing it. Nobody wants to leave. If you're talking about 15% and above, it's not the end of the world. But when you start talking about 20% of your client base leaving every single month, if you've got 100 clients, there's 20 people leaving by the end of the month. It's a rough place to be. That's BFM. In terms of a few other key metrics in here, in terms of like goals, etc. Like mentioned, the goal for the first day and last day total is to get to 1,000. We've got a long way to go, but we will get there. I guarantee you that. Clients joined per month. That was 100 when I originally wrote it. But honestly, I think that we can take on at least 200 clients a month with the model and how it's going to be changing. Customer churn rate, our target is to get to 10%. And right now, the average LTV is about 750. This is a difficult metric because the business is still quite new and it's only started to grow recently. But the way that we figure this out is basically by taking the spend per customer, which is £99 a month, and then dividing it by sorry, not dividing it by, is it? Yeah, dividing it by the churn rate, which would be 14%. So for us, on average, our LTV is going to be about £700. Again, the higher that we can get that, the more that we can spend to acquire per customers. That's where we're at though. Next, scale. Scale's a funny one because it's really not my time and attention. And like I say, it's one of those things where I'm probably going to have to change the model up for it to keep going forward. Because for anyone that works with me right now, this is so time intensive from my standpoint. It's ironic that it's called scale because it's actually unscalable. Like for my one-to-one clients, we do like a weekly fucking call every single week, and it's an hour. So it's like it's a lot of time on that. It's mainly focused around ads and scaling, etc. But it's not manageable for people that want to start driving in. And if we're going to get this group to 1,000 people, a good percentage of those people are going to hit a £5 a month and want to upgrade to scale. And I can't work with these all one-to-one. And I don't want to hire 25,000 success coaches and pass you off like the shit that we're trying to fight against. So I'll have to rethink this model, but as you can see, like the revenue is a bit higher on this in terms of like what's coming through. Some of these are obviously paid in full months, some of them are monthly months, etc. But if your main focus is to get money through the front door right now, I would highly suggest just doing a one-to-one service and scaling up that way. If you want to explore something like a group coaching model later down the line when this is in a good place, that's what I would suggest. Or if you want to have like a downsell where people go drop into it once you have a bit of traction, a good bit of volume, I would explore that. But like I say, this is really fucking hard to grow because this is basically convincing people that this isn't a scam because £99 a month for everything sounds way too good to be true. It's a lot easier to convince somebody that's doing over £5 a month to pay me £1,000 a month or whatever, because they're like, yeah, I'm just going to work with you. It's time and attention. So that would be my suggestion in terms of where you're at and what to prioritize. Like for example, we don't do any marketing for this, and it's made me 42 grand this year. We do a lot of marketing for this, and we've only made 12. That should just like drive home the point. Totals then. So so far, ad spend, and again, remember, like I have the luxury of having some money come through the fitness business still. It's nowhere near where it was, but it allows us to have some spare cash to put into ad spend to start growing this thing. So if you think like, Ryan, that's a huge ad spend for where the business is at, there's other things that are coming in. But in terms of like coming through this is mainly just exploring different things, really with no understanding of where to go, what strategy to run. It's a difficult one to look up because at the end of the day, like a lot of the mentors that run ads, they have a huge CAC, which CAC just stands for customer acquisition cost. So like if you're willing to pay a mentorship 5 grand, they can spend a grand and a half, 2 grand to acquire you as a customer. I can't in this situation because I'm going to be down pretty bad. So this was more of a discovery of like, how am I going to acquire customers for so cheap that selling a £99 a month thing is going to be affordable? It's a hard task. Uh, but like I say, acquisition and ads and stuff is like my main focus. It's a thing I'm pretty fucking good at. March in April, this spend was quite high, but unfortunately, a lot of the growth wasn't coming from the ad at that point. During that period of time, we were running a webinar. The problem with the webinar is like it was attracting not great people, unfortunately. And there's too many touch points to get to the point of getting somebody to show up to a call, watch the whole fucking thing with you live, and then want to take a step forward. And we actually broke even a lot of the time on the front end of the webinar, but after a 7-day trial, like 80% of people would just leave, which was baffling to me because I'm like, how are you leaving? It's so fucking good. But I think it's just a pure fact of like, they just weren't getting started. There's no trust there. Like they haven't done their onboarding call yet. There's no context to this. Like we've just done a webinar. I haven't even got my fucking PT qualification, Ryan, like which was a lot of people that were coming in. This is not a good time for me. Which when you sit and do a fucking webinar for an hour and you prep that much and you've spent loads on ads, there's a really daunting feeling. But it is what it is. What we can see here, if we're looking at month-on-month growth on average, we're growing by about 26.5% per month. However, it's not every single month. I tell you what, one of the hardest things for me was when we ran the fitness business, from starting to like 19.7K before we like even took like one little dip down, it was just month on month on month growth. If you've got a fat loss client and they lose £2 every week for like 8 weeks and then they gain a pound, you know for a fact it's like the end of the world to them. Like they forget all of that fucking progress and they're like, oh my God, I'm dying. Like this isn't working. Give me a refund right now. I think it's a lot more beneficial when we don't have a month-on-month growth from the start because we get a reality check very, very quickly. In fact, when I was growing the fitness business, in my eyes, I was like, oh, we're going to be at 100 grand a month for like 6 months. Like this is good. I obviously wasn't aware. Like I've never ran a fucking business before. Yeah, I just assumed every month was better. But again, that all just comes down to perspective. But we can see here there was some big months that grew again. There was one or two paid in fulls when they came into the one-to-one that came in there. There was a drop, as there always is with big paid in fulls, and you're not running the monthly standpoint. But on average, we're growing, we're moving forward, and it was obviously our best month to date, well, second best month to date coming into here, with a majority of the, not a majority, sorry, a large percentage of the group adding to this, not just the one-to-one, which again is my main focus. When somebody leaves that group and it's £100 a month gone, like it fucking kills me. Like you lose a 500, £1,000 a month one-to-one, I'm like, it's fine. Which yeah, it's weird, but it is. But that's the metrics, guys. That's that standpoint of it. And again, month on month, I'll share this with you. The first day total, the last day total, the clients that have joined, how many have left, where that leaves us from a growth standpoint, revenue included. Again, remember, it's unfortunate that this takes about 14 days to show here. So a lot of the people that came here in the second half of the month don't even show on this, but it'll be added on afterwards. Same with scale standpoint, and then obviously totals as well. But yeah, that's that part. Let's jump on the next bit then. So growth, and where's the main growth coming from? The big bit of growth for us right now is figuring out ads recently. And the main ad that we're running is one of two, which a lot of you actually might have signed up from this recently. I think there was, if we come to this last month, there was 13 people that signed up from the ads last month. A main one coming from this one. A little bit of a weird story on this one, and this is why data is so important, but even though this is tracked on this date, we started running this one way before this, like at the very, very start of the month. We spent about £247 on it and converted nobody. We then switched over to this one and we started signing people up. However, that's not the only thing that we switched. So if you remember, like back in science class, I think they called it like variables or like whatever the controlled variable is. I'm probably fucking way off. I didn't listen much. Um, we didn't just change the ad, we changed the welcome message. And we moved away from a lot more of a generic thing to just making it a little bit more lighthearted and personal. Now, that probably had the biggest impact, not just changing the ad. It was actually the welcome message that we sent. And with that one last month, we spent, what was that total? £598 total, 140 new followers. Cost per follower was around £4.27, which when you're used to running fitness ads and getting like 50p followers, I'm like, oh, fucking hell, that's really expensive. But what matters is obviously the back end, which was the 12 sales and 1.2 cash collected and contracted. And again, obviously, contracted is the same as collected because we have no contracts in place. Beyond that, though, at the sort of the back end of the month, I thought, listen, the cost per follower from this is lower than what this is. Let's try this. And then if it was just the welcome message that was stopping it, then we might even have a better ad running here. So even though that this was profitable, I wanted to test this. If you run an ad through the ads manager, you can just test multiple ones at once. It's not the end of the world. It's fine. Unfortunately, with the boosted stuff, I couldn't tell where people were signing up from because they're just coming through as new followers. It doesn't like, unless I say to them, like, which ad did you watch, this one or this one, which they're pretty fucking identical. There's only like one or two fucking tweaks. It would be a bit of a long-winded way around something. So what we did, we turned it back on. We turned this one off for the time being. We got a sale pretty quick from it, which was cool. And then again, a few more. But what I was finding was that is some of the people that were coming through were definitely questionable. But also on top of that, the first thing I thought was like, even at the start of this month, the ROAS is a little bit smaller and it just seems a little bit slower. Even though the cost per follower on this is a little bit higher, and I literally turned it on yesterday and turned this one back off, I think the directness of the ad is playing a massive part of it. So just saying to people, calling this one thing out, the intention that somebody's coming with from the follow is a lot higher than just sharing a common question that a coach might add. And that's my thought and like hypothesis on it. Doesn't mean it's right though. But if you are interested to know which two that we're running, it is this one right here. That was the one that we started with, wasn't profitable, made a tweak and a change, is becoming profitable, but doesn't be as profitable as the other one. So we went back to the other one. And then the one that we're mainly running right now is this one right here. Trips that want to charge you 500 or £1,000 a month are dead. Coaches are sick of being overcharged. I want to give that a watch. Go give it a watch. But you can normally always tell what ads people are boosting because they've got way more views on that than any other post. And it's normally not like a viral style post. Yeah, that's two that we're testing, and it's something I'll continue to do coming into this month as well. So ads is a big one for us right now. Realistically, we want to spend more money coming into this month. The ad is at £90 a day right now. Because the cost per follower is so high, I don't have a massive amount of traffic coming in. So like, I don't even have a VA in the account. I just reply to all the messages right now, which definitely increases the conversion, but it's more than manageable. The second one from a growth standpoint is affiliates, or you might want to call this referrals. Slightly different in terms of the things, but like a referral would be more of a client that just goes and tells their family and friends, might get a little gift or a kickback from it. Affiliate is more of like a hard setup deal of you will get X if you send this many people to me. And it's like a side job. It's like a little mini hustle. From an affiliate standpoint, I think we got, what was it? I think it was 11 affiliates last month. 11 people signed up from affiliates last month. That's from like you guys and then one or two other partnerships as well. The thing with affiliates and referrals, if you can get this cranking, the trust is so fucking high. People that come from affiliates and referrals stay and they don't ask any fucking questions. And by ask any questions, I mean like they don't think like you're about to scam them. They're just like, I trust you, let's get going because so and so said so. So affiliates being a big one. Affiliates is something I want to explore from a standpoint of getting all of you guys to become more of an affiliate and try and like help us grow this. And I'm going to ask you to help us grow this, please. Uh, and then a standpoint from building up bigger affiliates. The idea that I have in mind is partnering up with qualification providers, so coaches that go through a PT qualification and then they're left being like, what the fuck do I do next? To me, if I could set something up with them, they have a steady influx of people. It's an affordable upsell for them. They would get a 20% kickback. We would have a new acquisition system that will pump people into the business. So that's something that I'm going to be exploring, and I'll tell you if they all ignore me or we all get back and sign them all up. Probably going to ignore me. Story reshares then. Do us a favor. If you're on here and you're not on your phone and you've got access, just fucking take a photo of this webinar and just reshare it to your story. The reason I'm asking that is because you'll see every single week when a certain amount of people sign up, I share like this person signed up, this person signed up, this person signed up. One in every like 10 people reshare it to their story. Every time they do, we get multiple people sign up off the back of it. So I think Keith, I don't know if you're here, bud, but thanks very much. But I've had 2 inquiries from you just reposting that to your story the other day. And I know those 2 people will jump on no problem at all because they're all from Newcastle as well. So we all trust each other. But the point is that every single time that somebody puts something out, it's just that know, like, and trust. The thing for me is trying to make something easy for somebody to reshare and to sign up for. If I'm obviously going to put something out that's very like, look at all the revenue, look at all this money, like, haha, coaches aren't going to want to share that. So it's a balance between creating something that somebody wants to share and feels comfortable to sharing, to then actually getting and enabling them to do it. But just at the end of the day, I would massively appreciate if at any point during this, you just take a quick screenshot, share it to your story, and just said like, investing in my own growth, something like that. Yeah. And then just drop me a little bit of a tag. I'd massively appreciate that. Yeah. Beyond that, then, and you can see here, do more, which is literally the cover of my laptop here. Because if you just do more of the shit that works, you tend to fucking grow. So that's going to be my main focus coming in next month. Testing right now, obviously, mainly came through that ads being the top of funnel. If you think about how you guys would acquire a client through the front door, we need to get them aware of us first. When we're talking about content, if you can make content that brings in eyeballs and views and followers, fantastic. However, I'm going to take a stab in the dark and say 99% of people on this call can't make viral content on a consistent basis. It's a very, very hard skill to have. And it also doesn't always transition into clients and cash coming through the front door. So you can learn the skill of making viral content and having eyeballs coming through the front door, and that's going to save you lots and lots of money for not running ads. Or you can just substitute that with ads, which is like the followers. Yeah, whether that's an ad for followers coming in, inquiries, DMs, whatever that might be. In the beginning for you guys, you might obviously not have the cash or the infrastructure to run ads. That's why you're going to go out and follow people. But you're going to put out lead magnets and bring eyeballs in that way. But that's the way that we're playing this game. I'm not going to play the game of like trying to get loads of followers from organic content. I'm just going to substitute that with top of funnel stuff, aka the ad that we're running. The eyeballs come in, and then all of my content you might have seen is just middle of the funnel stuff. So it's just converting people off the back of that. I don't put out any bottom of the funnel stuff. You could kind of class the lead magnets that I put out as bottom of the funnel, but it's still a lot of middle stuff. I don't put a lot of direct offers out there anymore. It's not like click this button and sign up, DM me for this thing, and I'll sign you up today. There's not like we're running this offer. It's mainly just middle of the funnel, and all of my conversation to convert people will be done inside the DMs. Makes people feel like the page isn't very salesy as well, which is obviously a good combination when somebody's coming in from a follower ad. What I mean by middle of the funnel content then is all of these videos. This one right here, this one right here, this one right here. This one where I have an awful fucking sunburn. Lovely that, isn't it? And this one where I look absolutely dreadful, but everyone seemed to love it. Middle of the funnel is just building that know, like, and trust with people. It's the, like, I feel like I know Ryan a little bit more, feels a little bit more human. I like this guy. I have a term called stormtroopers. Unfortunately, there's going to be some stormtroopers on this call, but we're going to try and turn you into Darth Vaders. So a stormtrooper to me is, if you think about Star Wars, when a stormtrooper dies, people don't think, oh, what about his wife and kids? They just think like, there goes another one. They don't even think about it. Yeah. When we're making content that anybody else could make, nobody cares. Nobody thinks about it. We want to try and stand out. The worst thing that you could have happen is have somebody not have an opinion on you. If somebody thinks that you're a bit of a bellend, which some people will think I'm a bit of a bellend, that's better than not knowing anything. The other part of the people will quite like you, and that's what's going to be drawn to you. So that's the whole point of the middle of the funnel stuff. Personally, right now,
Long.
I'm actively trying to make it not perfect, aka like awful angles, like camera really fucking close to my face. There's no captions. I leave the stutters in there. I don't chop it down. I don't take out the big breaths or the pauses. I want somebody to sit there and feel like they're just having a conversation with Ryan, like we're all having a conversation right now. I don't want somebody to go like that was a ChatGPT script because nobody builds a relationship with that. And again, captions is something that I've totally moved away from because I've never built a relationship with somebody by reading captions. I've always built a relationship by listening to the person and how they articulate themselves and their thoughts and feelings. That's how I've always built a relationship. So that's what I'm moving more towards. That's the ads, the top of the funnel stuff for me, the content in the middle of the funnel stuff. I really don't think that's going to change anytime soon. I think that's just what we're going to run with and just try and maximize as much as possible. Let's cover some of the things that are working for other coaches then. So the first thing when it comes to content, exactly what I've just spoke about there. Somebody that absolutely smashes this, and I think it's spot on, is Les. And actually, if you're inside the portal, you'll see I referenced this at one point as well. I think there's a great mix between building relationships, aka like Les works with dads. He's showing that he is a dad. Sounds really fucking basic, but again, it just builds that like and trust factor. For the social proof aspect, we're talking about testimonials and before and after photos. For the value in building a relationship, that's through these videos I was literally just talking about right there. These videos are like 2 minutes to 3 minutes long. They don't get an abundance of views. They don't get tens of thousands of likes. They convert people extremely fucking quick. Not through like click this button and sign up, but by going, I've just watched Les speak for 3 minutes and I now quite like the guy. Or at least I like him a lot more than any other coach out there right now. Because I feel like I get him. Like we have a bit more of a relationship here. That's one that's doing really well with it. And I think Lewis is starting to nail it down a lot more as well. Which is again more of the just speaking very natural, talking through these scenarios. In fact, the ad that Lewis is running is like terrible ad, like in what people would class as a good ad. Like he's fucking mid-run. The audio is not amazing on it, and there's no like crazy fucking cuts and flashes and all that sort of stuff. But again, it's very natural content, and that's what I'm seeing people crush it with right now. Beyond that, collabs, people are absolutely smashing it with that. A lot of the lads that I'm working with crush it with collabs because I feel like when they collab on a post with another client that is a young male, he has a lot of friends in the pipeline that also want to get in great shape. And they're very impulsive young lads as well. So I think it works well for that niche, but I think in any sort of target audience, it works really well as well. And if you're not sure what I mean by collabs, has Lewis got one? You're going to let me down, Lewis? Have you done it? He killed me on that one. This one, for example. So you're obviously doing a photo shoot with a client here. You can see at the top right, he's collabed with them. And if you don't know how to do this, it's like when you go to do the post, instead of tagging, you just invite the person as a collab. And everyone on that page sees all the stuff. So like all of these comments are from this client's friends, family, etc., etc. All the likes are as well. It just gives you a massive pipeline of people to go message, like literally 100 fucking people. But then on top of that, when the friend sees it, they drop them a message and say, hey, what's he like? Just like when I've asked you guys to start resharing fucking stories. People are gonna if somebody one of you are gonna post up a story and somebody's gonna message you and being like, is he a nice guy? Is it a scam? Like, does he really do it for 100 quid, or is he gonna try and upsell me or 10 grand a month thing? Like that just starts the conversation. It's volume of opportunity. So that's the second thing I'm seeing that's working really well right now. Value-based offers over direct offers. Direct offers being something I've just totally moved away from. And I do with a lot of the one-to-one clients, unless we're doing like a hard launch on something. I just think people are wise to knowing exactly what you're fucking trying to do. So if we come to like a before and after photo, I'll tell you what, we'll come to my old page. Tell you what, let's pull up Fat Ryan. It's basically me right now, to be honest. Like, um, so like, yeah, I'm saying here, like, drop me a message with the word "let's do this." Number one, that's way too fucking long. I would never do that. Uh, but that's like a hard commitment from somebody to want to do that. And people have seen it a million times, and a lot of people don't want to hard commit themselves to something. People would like to soft commit themselves towards something for a bit of value that might be worth the exchange of being slightly committed, but they don't want to commit themselves this hard. What I would say in exchange though is it's probably going to be halfway down, so I'll come to this page instead. It's something like this, where again, before and after photo, just in a different context, but at the bottom, it's just like comment for this free thing. You're going to get a lot more people commenting or DM you a word for something of value rather than just signing up. If that's 3, 4, 5 times the amount of people that are willing to ask for the free thing, then say, I'm interested, please sign me up. That could result in 2, 3, 4, 5 times the amount of clients that sign up. Like it's a huge, huge difference. To the point where I literally, like I say, don't do it on anything. Like this right here, this is the lead magnet for something. There'll be some of you that are on this call because you watch this video, maybe in like, hey, for the first call, anybody can come in, and then it's obviously going to be restricted afterwards. Same for the story. I've just moved away from a lot of hard, yes, I will sign up, please press this button shit. And whenever I see somebody else do that as well, they get a lot better of a return off it. The third thing is like it's not something just for this month or something I've recently noticed, but I just think in general what I've noticed over the last couple of months of like running this new business is standards play a massive fucking role in someone's success. Standards, I mean like what you deem as good enough or acceptable, and if it's not good enough right now, your willingness to want to improve on it. I think a lot of coaches have low standards sometimes, and they think that they've done enough for something to happen and that thing doesn't happen, and then they just blame the scenario or the circumstance instead of themselves. I think it's okay to put work in and not have the thing that you want come back from it right now, but you've got to have the self-awareness to go that I have to improve the standard here because it's clearly not good enough. Otherwise, I would have got what I originally expected from this. I think this applies across the board. This is a hard thing for somebody to learn. I think a lot of people have like standards or they don't, or their standards are at certain levels. But what I would say is that if you want to raise your standards, just have a willingness to be better. Just have a willingness to want to improve. I know that when I watch this back, I'm going to cringe so fucking hard at 101 things that I said or little filler words in there. But I'm going to try and actively improve on not doing those. When I've done podcasts in the past, probably because I'm from Newcastle, I'll say the word, do you know what I mean? At the back end of everything. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? And it's just a filler word because I don't want to sit in silence. But I'm actively trying to stop doing that. Do you know what I mean? Standards being a big one. Moving on to what I found there flopped, which was the live webinars, which I kind of touched on that, so I'll not go into too much detail. But I think when it comes to live webinars, you're adding so many steps in front of somebody. Somebody has to watch the ad, decide to opt in, go to their fucking email. 4 days later, show up to the goddamn thing. They've got to sit for a 45-minute fucking webinar, and then they've got to decide to join up afterwards. Like a simple 3-step follow-up ad of click on the ad, drop you a follow, book them on a sales call. Like it's so much lower steps and it's a lot lower friction. So that's what I found didn't work for us. Not to say that they don't work in general, or we couldn't have got them to work if we fixed a few things. I guarantee that we probably could have, but I wasn't sure on how to improve that. So we moved on. Big lessons for the month then. So friendly exits is something that I would employ you all to do. What I mean by a friendly exit is I remember watching a video of Hormozi talking about Planet Fitness and how when somebody comes to leave Planet Fitness, it's basically like a shake your hand. We love you. We would love you back at some point. Like we wish you all the best. Like tell the kids that we said hi. And their return rate's massive, even though their churn is through the fucking roof. So I've had a few people join back up this month that were people that used to be in this group and they've jumped back in. I think there's 1 or 2 people on the call that fall in that category as well. And I think the reason for that is it was a friendly exit. You just didn't get a message from me saying, what the fuck? Get back in the community now. Uh, which, if you're talking about your current clients, think about how your offboarding goes. Is it really difficult for somebody to leave? Like you're asking for like a 20-page questionnaire, then jump on a call, then do this, then do that? Or is it a nice exchange where, yes, if you've got a contract in place, we abide to that and we're fair about that, but it's a friendly exit? Because your ex-clients, even though they're leaving now, they might want to return in the future. We've made a lot of money in the fitness business from clients that have returned just because we're fucking nice to them and we're not a bellend, unless they were bellend to us, and then we've really been a bellend. Simple scales is the second one that just constantly gets reinforced every single fucking time. And this comes with ads, like I just mentioned, webinars versus follower ads, and then the mastermind as well, which we're going back to the context of the guy leaving because it's just too much, it's overwhelming, it's complicated. I actually had a call with a lady this morning. She used to be on like a big scale mentorship, and then she went with more one-to-one. And she said that she's joined this, and it just feels really fucking obvious and clear. And I'm like, that's exactly what I want. I want it to be obvious. I want it to be clear. I don't want it to be overly complicated. Um, Expectations and burnout. I hear a lot of coaches saying like they're burnt out, but like for example, I was speaking to a coach the other day, and they felt like they'd put a lot of energy and a lot of work into some messaging. Unfortunately, they didn't get anything back off it. There was no calls booked, there was no sign up, there was no nothing. And he said he was burnt out. And I was like, cool. If you'd have booked 5 calls and signed 3 people up, would you still feel burnt out? And his answer was no. And I was like, isn't that interesting when in reality you would have more work to do? If 5 people booked a call, you'd have 5 more hours of sales calls. You'd have to set all these people up. You'd have to have more conversations. Yet with more work being on top, you wouldn't feel burnt out. I don't think burnout comes from people from overwork. I think it's expectations of the work that they're putting in not being matched. So for me, you can either do one or two things. You can either do more work or you can just change your expectations. And I think changing your expectations is far, far easier. And what I mean is like, if you think that it should only take 10 messages to sign up a client, change your expectations and expect to send 1,000. If you think in the first 3 months of this business, it's going to be a piece of piss and you're going to be hitting 5 months, be willing to spend 5 years. Me and Vito were on a walk once and we were going through a tough time in terms of the business. And she was like, well, if nothing changes, how long would you be willing to do it? I'd be like 10 years plus. I was more than happy to struggle, and I still am for an extended amount of time. If we have an expectation of only taking so much and it doesn't pan out, that's where people throw in the towel and they feel burnt out and they feel like the world's against them. Let's just change our expectations. This is a quote that I heard from a guy called Simon Squibb, which is people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And it's a big part of why we're actually doing this call right now is I'm explaining the whys of the behind the scenes and how everything's going. Nobody cares about a £99 a month mentorship. Nobody cares about you getting them to 5K. Nobody cares about you showing them this is how you run a fucking ad. People want to know like, what am I becoming a part of here? People are very reason driven. So much to the point that like this is our slogan now. Like BFM is the fuck you to overpriced mentorships. People can get behind that if they've had a bad experience or they can't afford a mentorship. That is, wanting to charge them 10 grand or whatever the fuck it might be. Again, people buy what you do, not why you do it. Natural content and storytelling. I'll not go into that anymore. I feel like we've deep dived that quite a bit. Storytelling being something that is difficult. It's definitely something that I need to improve on. I feel like I'm getting better, but there's obviously a long way to go between being okay at telling stories and amazing at telling stories. Enemies and building a cult. Nothing's going to build a relationship quicker with somebody than having a common enemy. Let's just put it that way. The building a cult worksheet that's inside the portal, this one right here. If you haven't done that and you're in the group right now, please go fucking do it and start to create your content all around that, because that's the thing that people are going to be building a relationship with. This is like your origin story, your enemies, your exceptional achievements, your language, your beliefs, etc., etc. That being a huge one, being enemies. That I found that when you start to share these common enemies, people jump on board very, very quickly. The final one, which I'll run through at a later date because I feel like I'm still building it, is creating a life plan. We were driving to Scotland Glasgow, and as we were driving along, the thought that I had was I know what I want to achieve, but it's not written down. I'm not clear on it. I now have a Google document that details like my whole fucking life, like where I want to live, what I want to do, what I want to look like, my kids, my future, my family, my vision, my mission, like everything. I'll share this at a later date where I feel like I've got it like in a good place where I'm happy with it. Ideas I'm exploring, and again, we're getting close to the end, but hang tight with me because I've got some pretty fucking cool announcements. Ideas I'm exploring, cold email. This is like such a fucking shiny object, but it's like sitting in the back of my mind. Like I'm forcing myself to try and like not explore it. I DM'd one guy on Fiverr and I just didn't reply to him because I'm like, Ryan, stop it. Just focus on the things that are working. But everyone gets shiny object syndrome. It's more of a lesson for me than it is for you. Remodeling scale, which I spoke about before, just from a scalability, ironic, right? Standpoint. And then moving the school about page moving the landing page to the school about page so it's easier for affiliates, aka like you guys when you want to refer someone. Changes and updates are coming to the group. So group onboarding's been a big one. When you start taking on 33 clients a month, doing one-on-one onboardings is very, very time consuming. So we're going to be moving inside the group to group onboardings because basically every fucking onboarding is exactly the same. It's like, this is the group, this is the roadmap, these are expectations, etc., etc. So that's one thing that I'm making a change and have already done to make the group more scalable and handle with more volume and load. Second thing, Kev, training and nutrition education will be coming by the end of the week. So that's a cool one to look out for, where he's going to be doing a huge module deep dive, training, nutrition, the ins and outs, the coaching of the client. So when it comes to a standpoint of leveling up your service, and we have something else cool in the pipeline for something very similar, but for the different aspect, that's going to be something to look forward to. So that's going to be here by the end of the week, which I'll post in the group and I'll share that whole module and make it available for everybody. Friday calls from next week. So the calls that, and again, if you're not in the UK, just convert this. The calls are at 1 p.m. They're going to become live sales trainings where we're going to be breaking down sales calls. So you can send me your sales call for that week. I'll share it. I'll break the whole thing down. You basically get a one-on-one experience where you're going to get a massive amount of value. Everyone else that's watching, there's a lot going to be able to take away from that as well. Sales call reviews are super important, especially for growth. London Mastermind, hey, first in-person event. So the first event is going to be on the 16th of August, and it's going to be in London. What I'm not going to do is tell you what we're going to be doing or talking about at the event. I want it to be like a complete surprise so that you have no expectations. So even if it's shit, like it's like, well, I didn't expect it to be much. Jokes aside, the event's going to be fucking awesome, but I'm not going to tell you what it encompasses and the topics that we're going to run around. There's only 14 spaces left, I believe, because obviously a handful go to the one-to-one clients first. This link is going to get put in the group today because after this call, I have another call with a guy. First come, first serve, unfortunately. It'll pretty much be gone by the end of the day. If it's not and there's one space left, I'll put it on my story. But I can't say there being 14 spaces left by the end of the day. It's £100, events included, foods included. It'll be a very, very, very good day. Trust me on that one. That's it. That's all I've got to share with you. Again, I would massively appreciate it if you're not on your phone, to take a screenshot and share it to your story. It would mean an absolute world to me. And again, if anyone does message you, take your affiliate link and send them across because you get a nice little kickback from it. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's what our last month's been like. I need to jump in 5 minutes. So has anyone got any questions? And if you have, let's make it quick.
No, just thank you for sharing. It's good.
Appreciate it, mate. Nice. Did you all find that like interesting or valuable to know? Or?
It's good. Your cost to acquire a client, because let's say if you get 700 quid per client, if you were spending, what was it? You spending a day on ads? Sorry, again, was it $1,000? £1,000 a week?
It's about £90 a day. Yeah.
£90 a day. It's not bad still. It's not that expensive. If one client covers that one client, 700 quid, and then boom, that's you good for that week of ad spend.
That's it. So for me, it's all CAC. So what I'm happy to spend is exactly what the client pays on the first month, realistically. So I'm aiming for signing people up for about £99. Last month on this one, what was it? The CAC is £58 on this ad.
Yeah.
So if we can be instantly profitable on day one, which we're not because school takes 14 days to send me the fucking money, which is unfortunate, then that's a good place to be. But I'm happy to keep scaling the ad spend on this per day until this reaches about 100%. But again,
especially if the retention's good as well, if they stay in for 3, 4, 5, 6 months plus.
Yeah, but that's it. If I can get somebody to stay for 7, yeah, I'm happy to spend 200-300 quid to acquire that. One thing that we have to think about as well, if you're going to be really smart when it comes to the marketing, it's not just about acquiring a client for this amount. It's acquiring a client that's also going to get you another client.
So, yeah, as well, referrals.
Yeah, there's a lady that came in off the ad the other day. So she's technically been acquired, like for the ad spend, but she's instantly referred somebody. So like that £58 got her, and it's got somebody else because we've got her to refer somebody, which again is why I need to put a big emphasis on the affiliate program and getting all you guys to be like, hey, he's really cool. You should check him out.
Did you up that? I thought you was going to up the percentage.
We'll talk about that later on. Yeah, we'll think about it.
I know a couple of people that might be keen.
Yeah, cool. The thing about upping the affiliate percentage kickback is it's an irreversible decision.
Of course, yeah.
I can't up the percentage kickback, then somebody refers somebody, then I drop it to 20% again. Do you know what I mean? Because I'd feel like a dick and people wouldn't like me. So it's something that I'll probably leave at 20% for a good time. But if later down the line I feel like giving a bigger piece of a pie away, of an ultimately bigger pie, would be worth it from a growth standpoint, then
makes sense.
I'll do that. Do you know what I mean? Nice, guys. That's it. I hope that was insightful for you. And if you obviously have any questions, put it in the group. Or show up to the call tomorrow and ask me. Yeah. Nice. Sweet people. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll catch you soon.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Bye.